Hi, I'm Alan from Cartograph, and we are once again in the Cartograph Estate Vineyard today. And this Library Friday wine that we are focusing on this week, is the 2016 Perli Vineyard Pinot Noir, which is from the Mendocino Ridge growing AVA. And the Mendocino Ridge is a really interesting region to grow wine in that it's a non-contiguous AVA. So in the region that qualifies to be in the AVA, you have to also be above 1,200 feet. And the framers, or the two guys that wrote this AVA application to the feds, Dan Dooling and Steve Alden, they did it because at 1,200 feet, you're almost always above the fog line. So fog line is typically 900 to 1,000 feet. So that means these vines are above the fog line at a height where there's more intense solar radiation, so you get lots of sun, but the direct cooling influence from the ocean, which is just a handful of miles off to the west, really moderates that temperature. So you have, compared to here in the Russian River Valley, we have fog that rolls in every night, drops our temps into the 50s, and we have this really big swing from day to night temps. In the Mendocino Ridge, you have lower highs and higher lows typically, because you're protected from some of the cooling influences of the fog rolling in the evening. So it's a really cool place, figuratively, literally, to grow Pinot in particular. And this Perli Vineyard, the 2016, and 16 was the last of that really horrible 4-year drought that we had. However, we did have a really good growing season, so we got some really beautiful wines from all over Russian River and Mendocino Ridge in 2016. We're thrilled with them. And this, the Perli this year, or this version, has a really kind of interesting contradiction, because you get this interesting kind of dusty cranberry aromatic going, but you also have a kind of intense blueberry. So those are two competing, one sharp and zesty, one rich and round. Those you often don't find them together, but Perli is one of those vineyards that really highlights the dark fruit when it's young, but it has a really great intensity. So as it ages, some of that dark fruit backs off. And so I would say that contrast between the cranberry and blueberry is probably the most interesting thing on the nose. But as it's aged, a couple years ago, it didn't have this, but it now has a little bit of leather, and that blackberry component that was there when it was young is still hovering in the background aromatically. Let's see what's going on in the palate. It's actually a little more savory on the palate than you might expect. With all that kind of, with the fruit and stuff going on in the nose, I would expect it to be a little more overtly fruity, but that was in this wine's past. So over the past 2 years, that blueberry and blackberry have backed off. You do get more cranberry on the palate, but it also, it's a savory sensation. It's really beautiful. It's at a very kind of balanced and elegant point in its aging. There's some really tight, kind of crisp tannins on the finish, which makes me think that this wine is still has a lot of years ahead of it. And Perli in general, as a vineyard, is one of our more ageable vineyards in our portfolio. Yeah, that really light, kind of beautiful cranberry, something savory, like a mouth-watering kind of, I don't know how to say it. It's like almost a fermented grain kind of sensation. Yeah, so I would say this would be a perfect wine to do with, say, a lighter red meat, perhaps, or kind of a medium to heavy grain if you're doing vegetarian dishes. Something with a little bit of richness. A gravy that has a little bit of richness to it that is savory. So yes, so this will be open in the tasting room on Friday, April 9th. And if you're curious about library wines, you can check out our YouTube channel and see more library wine tasting notes. And we will also have this wine available on the cartographwines.com website. But we're having absolutely stunning weather here in Northern California, so if you can hop in the car and get to Healdsburg, everything is starting to open up. We're thrilled to see that everything around us is starting to bloom and blossom, and people are coming out and getting out back into public. So we're thrilled to be able to welcome guests. Give us a call, make a reservation. We're happy to see you, and cheers. Here's to Library Wines.